Hey folks, Mel the Terrain Tutor back in the studio and back with another video for you. And in this week's Terrain Tuesday video, we're tackling fences, so we're back in the Let's Make playlist. Yeah, now if you've not been on the Let's Makes before, Let's Makes are just simple projects that we do start to finish. And in this project, we're carrying on with our Wild West stuff and we're making snake fences, which is going to be a bit of a problem because my Lisp is going to be all over the place. Right. If you don't know what a snake fence is, it's a zigzag fence. It's quite common in America. Yeah, and not so much over in the UK. I haven't seen many of us. Yeah, now, very simply, yeah, it's a fence that basically the logs are stacked 45 at an angle to each other. And it's this sort of stacking that gives the fence the stability. It doesn't rely on standard fence posts. It can have them to adds to stability, but it doesn't rely on them for support. It relies on its interlocking nature and the fact that it's at a zigzag to provide its stability. Yeah, now, typically at really posh ones, you find them with sort of like 45 degrees off from the horizontal, so a 90-degree sort of change of direction. Yeah, very posh. You can often see them painted white. I think they're used at Gettysburg, but my American followers, I'm sure one of you has been there. You'll be able to tell me. Now, it is common to also sort of come out at a much lesser angle, like 30 degrees off the horizontal. Yeah, so this is 120 rather than 90. Okay, this just sort of thins it down. It stretches it out. It's a little less stable, but it uses a lot less materials. So in the Wild West, yeah, this is what I'm more thinking about. Now, when it comes to the actual building materials, there are a number of choices for fences, and they are the stock choices. First off, yeah, we've got the trusty barbecue skewers. Really good, really available, cheap, good building material. The issue with these in this project is they're round, which means gluing them together can get a little fiddly. If you're going to be using these, I would recommend you use a gel super glue with them and just put a little bit of spot. Do not use a watery super glue on anything round joining to round. Super glue requires a bit of a bond. It requires pressure. It requires surfaces. And round on round, there's very little contact point, which is why the thicker glues work best. PVA, yeah, will work well, but also a gel super glue, but not a watery one. Now, if you want to be really posh, yeah, you can get the old, it is the season, autumn, to collect like old sticks from plants and stuff like that. Dry them out. If you can get decent ones, you can go with those. Quite posh. That's not what I'm going for. Now, what I'm going for is, I'm going for the balsa. Okay? And there's one main reason why I'm going for balsa. And that's because, oh, pardon me, it's square. Yeah, i.e. it's not round. So this project relies, the stability and everything about this project relies on things stacking on each other and getting a good bond. Yeah, using something that's actually got flat surfaces is going to go a long way to help that. Now, to get all these, all I'm doing is, to get these and to get them square, perfect, all I'm doing is using my balsa splitter. Now, we've covered this in a previous video. Yeah, I'll throw the link up. And all I'm doing is I'm taking my balsa splitter and I'm just basically sliding it and adjusting it so the blade sits just on the just on top of the balsa, and it can slide in that gap. Yeah, and then what that means is when I come and do my stripping, I'm ending up with perfect 3mm squares. Yeah, and you can do this with various thickness. I've got to do some posts and stuff, so we'll get some thicker stuff. I'll just adjust it. I'll have it nice and neat, bang on the point. Yeah, let me bring that for you. Yeah, you can see that there. Yeah, and we'll just strip off some posts like that. It's much quicker, it's much easier, and I appreciate the flat surface. Also, balsa soaks in PVA really well, and this, although in real life, yeah, we're talking about big timbers which have their own stability. In model making, we're using tiny little things. So having a wood that's going to soak up the PVA and get me a good bond, that's going to be beneficial. Very beneficial. Now, before I carry on with the materials, we need to talk bases. Right, these are my bases. I'm using 3mm laminate board. Yeah, the sort of stuff that they use for the backings of like wardrobes and that sort of stuff. So it's got a laminate on one side, bare MDF on the other. Now to get this, what I did is I started off with a bit of cardboard. I said I wanted 8-inch pieces. And what I did is I split those down, knowing that I wanted basically 2 zigzags or 2 complete turns, what you call it, on each piece. So split it down into quarters, 2-inch each, and then just drew my, what you call it, my sort of sticks on to get a rough idea of the width, which turned out as being 8 inches by 1.5 inches. So there you are. There's your measurements. And that's using the 30 degrees off the horizontal. Yeah. Next, yeah, I put a cone on them. Now, if you noticed, all of these have got cones on the end. This is so that when I put them, no matter where I put them, they will always... There's something under my desk, just there. There's a lump just there. What's that? It was a rock. There we go, that's better. That had me confused. Right, so I've got these. Because I put a cone on them, yeah, it means I can position my fences at angles. As long as my fences come roughly to here, I can just position them wherever I want. Now, to get these cones, all I did is use a bit of cardboard, yeah, and I used a French form, yeah, just to get one side, and then there we are, it's that way, and then do the other side, yeah, and that gives me a perfect template just to draw on my wood and cut that out, yeah. So that's a nice easy trick, a nice easy way of getting very simpler modular bases. And that's important because when you're making fences, you're not making individual pieces, you're making a piece of modular terrain, and so it's got to work together. Things need to connect. You can't have it so there's gaps. So if your fences finish, say half an inch away from the end of the base, and you have 2 that go next to each other like that, you end up with like an inch wide gap, which is wide enough for a model or a cow to escape, which would be a bit of a chaotic in a bit chaotic in a cowboy game. Stampede, that's rules firms. What a cowboy. Right, my next job is I need to just strip this down into my pieces. Yeah, well, I'll take a few more. I'll get a few more rods, and then we're going to come back and we'll start the actual building. So I'll see you after the flash. Right, I've done my stripping. Now for my building. And if you just quickly nose on the desk, yeah, you'll notice I've got a little bit of masking tape there. It's got 2 lines on that are 2.5 inches apart, and just been using that to very quickly cut all my strips of balsa down to the right size. At the same time, with the little bits of offcut at the end of the strips, I'm cutting these tiny little bits, and they're going to be important as well. Now, my glue of choice for this project is lead balsa. Lead balsa? PVA. Okay then. I know what I want to say. I know what I'm thinking. Wrong word comes out though. It's a whatchamacallit situation. Right, I've got some PVA here, and if you notice, it's really quite thick. I've put it on the plate and I've let it go out. I've also got a brush here. Yeah, and what we're going to do is we're going to start to lay out our our fences. We start off, yeah, with our 2 bottom pieces. So we get a PVA very quickly, brush it on. Brushing it on is a lot better, a lot more controlled on this. Yeah, if you just straight out the top, you'll get a load of blobs and stuff, and it'll be all over the place. So use a brush to apply it. And I'm just putting my first piece roughly there, just sort of slightly off from the center on this one. Yeah, and what it looks to be about 30 degrees. Yeah, the next piece. Yeah, glue this up. Don't want to rush and spoil it, but I am conscious that you're watching. Very quickly, we put that one. Same sort of principle. Yeah, we want it just right to the very edge. Yeah, so that when we put our pieces together, they meet. Yeah, we don't have gaps in our fencing. Well, not too big anyway. Next off, oh, made us silly. See, this is the cortisol. Right. Look, I spotted that. This one goes here, like that. Yeah, I reckon. And then what I need to do is we're going to put one across here, start the zigzagging, like that. Okay, but we're going to put one across here as well. But to put the one here, we need to put a little stand in. Otherwise, it's going to sort of drop to the floor. So with this little bit, I'm just going to put a bit of PVA on the bottom of it. Decent bit. Put it there. Just at the tip there. Down here a little. And then what I'm going to do is we move that onto about there. Wiggle it a little. I'm going to put some glue onto that. I'm going to put some glue onto there. I'm just going to get another straight. I'm going to put it like that. Yeah. Then we get another straight. Yeah. And we just plonk it on there. Right, this is the time where if you want to give your bits a little bit of a wiggle for the PVA sets, this is the time to do it. Just sort of get your angles right. Make sure you're happy with them. So, there's our first row. Now we're going to repeat that process, but this time we've got to put this little one at the end here. So I'm going to do that now. And as they glue, they'll hold in. So don't worry about it being rocky about or anything like that. Just put your PVA on. Stick it on. There. Just like that. Okay, hang it a little bit. And then all you're going to do is we want to go here and here and here and here. So, put a bit of PVA roughly there. Bit of PVA roughly there. And we go there. And then one more on top. Right, give it a little wiggle. Make sure we're happy with it. And there we go. So if I bring it up very quickly, you can see the sort of principle, how I'm going to put the little ones alternating to keep it level and to keep that. See, this is why it's fiddly as hell. This is why you want to be careful. Now, I don't want to fiddle with this too much, really. What I should do is leave this to dry and start on another one. Yeah? But, yeah, we will do that. No, we won't. We'll cue the montage music. Off we go. I do like that montage music. Right, here we go. Let me bring it up for you. And there you have it. Now, I've done 7 layers. So there's 3 on one, and there's 4 on another with, because that one started at the bottom. Yeah, and that sort of works for my height. I could go one higher if I wanted. I don't think I'm going to need to. Yeah. Now, my next job is, I've obviously got to do this because I need a few of these. So I'm going to get cracked on with these. I'll see you after these pictures. They're all dry and done, and they are looking great. Yeah, look. There you go. Now, above all, when making these things, the one little tip that I can give you, that listen to this tip. Do them in layers on individual pieces. Don't build them up all up on one and then move on. The stacking process is incredibly fiddly, even with like tacky PVA. Yeah. And so what you really need to do is just do one layer on one. Yeah. And then move on to the next layer, do one layer on the next layer, and then go through your set and then come back and do the next one once the bottom layer is stuck. I built the first one completely in one stack, and then after that I did that with the others, and it works a lot better. Now if you come and have a look, as you can see, I've got my snake fencing. Yeah, we've got the zigzags. I'll just put some little, some little pieces on there. I got them off a photograph. I don't know if they're historically accurate. If you want historically accurate, do your own research. I'll show you how to build them. I'm not a historian. Yeah, so a couple on there, and then on these I just used a couple of little twigs and stuff, put some posts in, and I've put them randomly. So what we've ended up with is we've got 6 snake fences, and because we've made sure that the ends go right to the end of our of our baseboards, and we've also beveled off and sort of nose coned, I call it. It's like a nose cone of a missile. What we can do is we do things like this. Easy peasy. Let me bring this over here. Angles, both. It's a Sunday morning. It's not quarter to, it's just a Sunday morning. Yeah, but we can just lay them up like that, nice and easy. But the question is, what happens if you want, to do something, connect them in a different way? Well, I spotted some of these. Yeah, where they make triangles. And all this is one straight one, and then one there, one there, one there, one there, and just jiggy it all up. There we go. Bring it up. Let's go. There you go. Yeah, nice and simple. Okay, and with those, I can add those in. Yeah, and we can make even better T-junctions. And to step it up one more, you've got fences, but you need a gate, don't you? So, simple use of, 2 of the triangles. Then all I've done is just with the twigs, 2 uprights. They're just on either side, and I've just laid one twig that way, one twig that way, just laid one on top. I could have done a fighty fence and all that sort of stuff, but it's just a Wild West fence. It'll do nicely. So with all of these, I now have quite a good fencing system. Yeah, and it's just simply stacking bits of wood on top of each other and a bit of PVA. That's all it is, but it's going to look great. Now, there's a couple of things we need to do before we get onto the painting stage, which is I just need to put a texture base on that. For this, we're going to use a little bit of filler. Yeah, bog standard interior ready mixed filler. And then I'm just going to get some aggregates, just some sand and stuff, and I'll sprinkle it on. That'll give them a texture. So I'll get that done now. To get it done, all I'm going to do is, I'm going to get this. Ew, it's a bit thick. It's been a while since I've played with this. Let me get my finger in. There you go. Yeah. A little bit of water. It's better when it's wetter. And all I'm going to do is just smooth this on. This might be fiddly with my finger. Normally I like playing with my finger. I might have to use tools. Yeah, I think we're going to have to use something. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, but all I'm doing is just spreading it out. Just getting a little bit of texture. And then while it's still wet, yeah, it's a bit clumpy. All I'm going to do is just dead simple. Just sprinkle a little bit of aggregates on there. But to get it in around the corners, I think what I'm going to do is be professional. Use a tool. Yeah. All I have to is just breaking up that flat texture. Yeah. There we go. And then all I need to do is just sprinkle a little bit of aggregates on there, and it will be good to dry. And then we'll bring them all back when they're ready for painting. So, see you after the flash, folks. So, all based up. If I bring them up, Yeah, now remember that the grit is only just sprinkled on top of the filler, so it's not really adhered that well. And it'll be, once it gets base coat, I'll just mix a bit of PVA in the base coat, and that's what I'll use to seal it. So as you can see, they're all done. Texture's really nice, just a little bit of mixed aggregate, fine sand and some little small pebbles. It's turned out fine. Now, the next stage is painting it up, and for that we're going to go for exactly the same method as we did our water towers. And if you don't know what that is, I'll throw a link up to it there. Yeah, but just to take you through, we're going to use this Brazilian brown, which is a nice warm dark brown, as our base coat. We're going to lighten it up with a little bit of cream. Yeah, this. And that'll get us our wood texture. We're then going to make a wash out of a burnt umber, which is a nice reddy brown, and our wash will look that sort of colour. Okay, and then afterwards, we're going to do the base in this, which is basically an ochre, like a yellow. Yeah, but it's had some grey put into it to sort of knock it back a little. Then we'll just highlight it up with a little bit of the cream so it matches that. And the reason why I've done it all through that is because you don't need me bringing it back at every stage to show you. You don't need me to show you how to base coat or dry brush. And if you do, you need to check out the Back to Basics playlist. Link. Getting good at this linky stuff, but I'm going to show you in pictures. So, time to make it beautiful. See you in a moment, folks. And after a bit of slapdashing, they are done and they are looking great. Here, what do you think? Yeah, straight away you can see that he's got a nice, what you call it, sort of deserty seam. Now, as you can see, the paint scheme, I have gone really rough and ready with them, and that's okay. You know, I'm trying to do this finish not perfect thing. Normally I'd have gone back, correct things, but the fact of the matter is, it's only me who notices them. You lot don't notice them. I'm not going to notice them when I'm gaming, and they look great. So painting up, just went through the browns, lightened up with the greys, and then just put my sort of ochre colour down, and then just lined it up with a little bit of cream. Added some tufts and a little bit of lichen. Hey presto, looking good. Now, as you can see, yeah, I've just filled the centre of those with some bushes. Not the best way of doing it, but it works. Yeah. And then if we come on this one, yeah, there we go. Beautiful. Yeah. All ready for my ladies to hide behind, and slowly my little cowboy set is coming together. Now, I've got a few more buildings to do. Next video, we should be looking at adding stone effects to MDF buildings. Yeah, I need to chimney some stuff up. So, might as well show you while I do it. Other than that, I've got a blacksmith over there and a barn to do. And then hopefully we should be wrapping up and moving on with some small scale stuff. But in the meantime, it has been an absolute pleasure to do a Let's Make and build something from scratch. Really does be good. Now, as always, yeah, if you've liked seeing me back on the channel, get down in the comments and let me know you like seeing me back. That, with the old grey matter and the old mental health stuff, that really helps me. If you want to help me beyond that, there's links down below. There's links on screen. Join the Patreon. Check out the wish list on Amazon to get something for the studio, or just send me a tip via PayPal. It all helps keep the lights on, the cameras rolling, and me in here boosting my mojo, sharing my passion with you. Now, in the meantime, I will catch you on the next Tuesday if I don't see you before, which I might, but no promises. But if not, I will see you next Tuesday with more terrain videos. All the best, yeah? Ta-ra.